Oh, I can see his gun. I can't see him.
Nice. Nice. There it is. My God.
Hey, what's up and welcome everyone to a highly anticipated episode of the Warzone Academy. Now, for a long time, you all have been asking me about how I snipe. It's something I'm known really well for, and I do it on both controller and keyboard and mouse. But as we do on Scuff Saturdays, we talk about my Scuff controller, my controller gameplay in general, and how I can help you improve. Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, when I say Warzone Academy and you see that chalkboard thumbnail, know that we are getting into the nitty-gritty. Now, in the month of July, I streamed every single day on top of my full-time job, so I hadn't had a lot of time to focus on these really in-depth videos. But as July comes to a close and I've got more time to really commit to YouTube again, if you want to see more of these super in-depth videos, let me know by smashing the like button, smashing the subscribe button, because not only are we going to have a controller sniping video, we're going to have an advanced sniping tutorial coming later this week, and it is specific to controller, keyboard, and mouse, both of them, and the techniques and the little tips and tricks that I use to dominate the Warzone with the sniper, so keep an eye out for that. Oh, and one more thing before I forget. So on Scuff Saturdays, not only do I provide controller-specific guides, but I also provide controllers. Over on Twitch, the link is in the description and the pinned comment, I'm giving away either Scuff gift cards, Scuff swag, Scuff controllers, all out of my own pocket. Now, I am partnered with Scuff. If you want to buy your own, it's 5% off or 10% off, depending on the day, using code Isaac at the Scuff store. But as a way to give back to the community for all they've given to me, I want to give back, and I give back gift cards, give back controllers, and we've given away over $1,000 in Scuff gear in the last month. So follow me over on Twitch if you want a chance to win your very own. But without any further ado, let's get into what we have here today. So I'm in a custom game, and before we get into some of the techniques, and these techniques are literally going to change the way you think about sniping. It's completely changed my life when I've explained it. First off, let's go over the settings real quick. So button layout, that's whatever you're comfortable with. Let's talk about dead zone. So dead zone you want to have as low as you possibly can. I'm pretty sure on this controller I can zero it out because it's a brand new controller. Dead zone is basically the amount of movement you need to put into your controller before it will move. If you notice there in the hand cam, I'm actually moving the stick, but it's not moving on screen. I'm moving it pretty significantly. So if you're stuck having a high dead zone, and then it just basically like takes off at the end of the screen, it's taking away your ability to make really fine adjustments. So on this controller, I can bring it down probably all the way to 0. And it allows me to just barely move. And you'll notice when I'm moving the controller, it's barely moving that crosshair, right? So I can make a very fine circle around him. Point being, ladies and gentlemen, as low as a dead zone as you can, put it on there. I like a little bit lower of a sense. Some of my friends are cracked out and go 20/20, but that's not for me because I play a lot of sniper. 66.85, which gives me a little bit more refinement on the long range and scoped in. I do standard. I've played dynamic when I'm playing with guns, like SMGs, ARs. I love dynamic. But sniping, I have to use standard. Not sure what it is, but it works really well for me. And then after that, my aim assist is also standard. I know J-God's all about, I think it's precision or focusing. One of them is apparently broken, but I like standard. I'm just going to stick with it because I know it's probably what's going to be on the next COD anyways. And then everything after that is pretty standard. For your PC players, I do have scale aim assist with FOV. All right, so let's talk about it. Obviously, we've got the we've got the controller as opposed to the keyboard and mouse, but we also have aim assist. And this is going to completely change the way that we think about sniping. Okay, I need you to stop thinking about sniping as how good you are with your right thumb. I need you to think about sniping about your trigger finger. And it's going to blow your mind when you think about it, but I'm not worried about how well you can stay on someone's head with your right stick. All I need you to do as a sniper is to cross your crosshair past their head once, okay? You've got two aiming styles, and there are probably more sniping, but these are the two aiming styles that I use. We've got hard scoping, which is if you are far, far, far across the map, right? And you just want to get a snipe off, you can hard scope in and really just kind of wait and get the guy perfect. Maybe he's like perfectly holding a heady and you just really need to just barely get it on target. Okay, very rarely do we have an opponent that's standing still. And so if they are, we're lucky, we'll hard scope. Those aren't hard. What we really need to practice is when our opponents are moving or we're trying to acquire an opponent quickly and they're going to fire back at us. And this is where I use what is called drag scoping or drag sniping. we don't rely off of how good we can aim on someone with our right thumbstick. We rely how well we can time our trigger finger at the moment the crosshair passes the opponent's head. This will fundamentally change the way you think of sniping. Okay? And here's why it's really, really good on controller. We have aim assist, right? So as we aim past our opponent, we'll notice, see that slowing kick in? And then boom, it starts to speed up. Watch. Slow. Speed up. I'm not doing anything differently. That's just the way aim assist works in this game. So Call of Duty doesn't have an aim assist system where it snaps onto a target. Many people think it does. Look carefully. I'm aiming off to the right of his head. When I zoom in, it doesn't snap to his head. Even if I'm extremely close to the left of his head, it does not snap in. The way the Call of Duty aim assist works is that it helps hold you close to the target. Okay? Look at, I'm making full stick deflection right here, and it's only barely going to his chest. But if I go full stick deflection out here, I'm making a greater movement. But the second that I stop on his body, it becomes controlled again. And this is where drag scoping comes in. We use that slow. The second that I start to feel that slow, something in my mind goes off where I am ready to now time the trigger of my R2, which is my trigger. And so that's the way you need to think about it. Don't focus so much on really sitting there trying to get that fine, refined shot and then boom, firing. You need to think about dragging past your opponent's head, and then just as you're dragging, click, click, click. Notice you can drag past your opponent so much quicker, and you don't need to focus on hard scoping. So once again, feel free. If he's across the map and he's not moving at all, he's really mounted up or something, take your time, really get in there, maybe hold your breath, maybe mount up, do what you need to do, but that's honestly not what's going to happen. You're going to have players moving around quickly, and now it's on you to just be able to acquire a target, drag past them, and as you feel that aim assist start to pull, then it becomes a muscle memory of timing rather than aim. So what I do as a sniper is not focus so much on hitting them in the head, but I draw a line from where my current aim is, let's say whenever I snap, to where their head is and beyond. And I drag past their head. That's why oftentimes I'll get comments and videos and be like, oh, it doesn't even look like he hit him. You're basically creating a human trigger bot for yourself, where you're gonna drag past their head as much as you possibly can. Even if you don't perfectly acquire, because ideally we perfectly acquire their head. But if we are a little bit off, we're gonna drag through their head, and then as we feel that pull on our stick, as we feel that pull on the aim assist, slowing us down, we're gonna time our shots and then snap and shoot as it lands on their head. All based off of timing and drawing a line through them, not based off of, okay, stop, hard scope, stop, shoot. It's drag through and shoot. All right, so I'm going to show you real quick in-game what it looks like, the difference between drag scoping and hard scoping. Once again, I'm not teaching you, how to quick scope. I think that's a really advanced technique that really isn't practical for Warzone. Drag scoping is not quick scoping. You are dragging past your opponent's head, and then when you feel the aim assist slow your aim, that's when you take your shot. Okay, so I felt it slow there, I take my shot. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it doesn't bite, especially in little spots like that. So you don't get the timing of, or the feel of slowing. But at the very least, you know that you have to time it. So once again, the focus here is on drawing a line past our enemy's head and then clicking or shooting or pulling the trigger when it passes. Not focusing on stopping on their head, focusing, and then shooting. We are dragging past their head and we're timing our right stick. That's not a quick scope. We're just waiting until we feel that pull on the aim assist, and then we take our shots. All right, let me focus up here for a moment. Notice, I'm not stopping. I'm not hard scoping. I'm repositioning between every shot. We'll talk more about that here in a moment. And I'm waiting to feel the pull. As soon as I feel the pull, I know I should be preparing myself to pull the trigger. And it's all based off of timing. In Warzone, you cannot get away with body shots, so you really got to make sure you're stopping whenever it hits their head. This guy's frying me with the AMAX. And I got collided headshot on YouTube. Too bad it's against bots. Once again, dragging past, waiting for the pull, and stopping. That pull on the aim assist, right? Look at that. That's what we're waiting for. And then we just simply wait until that moment that it's at their head. Dragging, pulling, 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 pulling. Oh, no. Easy as that. And don't feel like you have to over-exaggerate it too, right? We're dragging past, and we can slow down slightly as we get close to their head. We're not trying to, like, you know, zoom past their head and have some freak of nature timing. We're just using that little bit of pull as to when we're pulling the trigger. All right, let's talk about another essential part of learning to aim with the controller. Obviously, we have the right stick and the timing down, right? In the event that we do have to hard scope, and they're across the map, one key thing that you need to realize is it's a little bit difficult. Sometimes when they're really, really far across the map, it's kind of tough to get that really refined aim. Let's say, you know, you're trying to make these small adjustments with your right stick and you just keep going past their head. You just can't get that aim perfectly. What you can do, rather than using your right stick to aim, use your left stick, your walk, to make minor adjustments. Notice I'm able to deflect my left stick and make much more minor adjustments with full stick deflection than I am with my right stick, full stick deflection. So if someone's very far across the map, or even if they're close up, let's say you go here, you'll see me going full right stick to pull my aim rather than standing still and then trying to refine the aim. So if they're close enough for me, I'm gonna use my left stick to put me on target. Now this also adds the added benefit of whenever you're doing this sort of counter strafing, it makes it much more difficult, or a little bit more difficult, for you to hit because you're moving while you're sniping. All right, so now we basically have our techniques for how we're going to aim in game. So we talked about if they're a long way away, we can basically just hard scope. That's not too tough. If, you know, it's getting a little tough for you to aim, you can use your left stick to really get those fine, refined movements. I even use the left stick when I'm going for some of those quicker drag scopes, like in that little gameplay segment I showed you earlier. Once again, on the drag scope, we're focusing not on the precision of our right thumb on the right stick. We're focusing on the timing of our right trigger finger as we drag through and past the target using that aim assist slow. The second you start to feel that slow, you'll start to build a muscle memory and start to build a timing rather than a precision, and it's going to completely change the way you play the game. But we've got to keep in mind, we've got someone on the other end of our barrel, someone that's trying to shoot back. And especially in sniper battles, there are things that you need to be doing to prevent yourself from getting shot. Okay, so for one, there's kind of like a tier system that we can do to better our movement while sniping. For one, after each shot, you can just stay zoomed in and strafe. Better yet, because that's about as simple as it gets, as opposed to just literally shooting and standing still, which is asking to get headshots. So please, do not just shoot and stand still. So we've got our first one, which is shoot and then strafe. What we can do after that is shoot, unscope, and then strafe. Because your unscoped movement speed is significantly faster than your scoped in movement speed. Anytime you aim down sight in Call of Duty, you move slower. So you can look at it from this perspective. If we are aimed down sight, we only move at a certain very slow speed. But the second we take our scope off, we can start strafing a little bit quicker. So ideally, you shoot, unscope, pull the bolt back, and as soon as the bolt's ready to fire again, then you can just reacquire your target. Okay, so what's the next evolution of that? The next evolution of that is jumping, and this is where a scuff comes in so handy. Once again, guys, I am sponsored and partnered with Scuff, so if you ever are interested in buying a Scuff controller, I've got reviews on my channel. They've been partnered with me back all the way since I had 20,000 subscribers. This isn't a recent thing. I love their products. What a Scuff allows me to do is constantly be focused on my aiming. I never have to take my hand or my thumb off the right stick. But now I can take a shot. Let's say I take a shot, and now we can jump. Okay, the reason jumping is more beneficial than simply strafing is it changes the level of your head. You change the level of your head, obviously it's going to be harder for the enemy to headshot you. So the second tier, the first tier is just strafing. The second tier is strafing and jumping. So we'll take our first shot, and then we'll strafe and jump. Strafe and jump. And once again, we can, you know, make this even better, just as we did with the strafes, by unscoping and jumping. So we can shoot, unscope, jump. Shoot, unscope, jump. This is going to take a little bit of practice because it's going to require you to get better at reacquiring your target. But from the enemy's perspective, it makes it infinitely more difficult for them to acquire you, take a shot, and now all of a sudden, they're all over the place like a madman. Once again, anytime you unscope, it allows you to move faster than if you were just to simply be scoped and jumping. Still get a little bit of movement in there, but the unscope really helps you gain some ground. Now, the reason this is easier with the scuff is the scuff has paddles on the back of the controller that you can remap to anything in the game. See those paddles on the back of the controller? Those paddles allow me to remap to face buttons. So I have my face buttons remapped to jump and crouch. And so rather than me having to take my hand off the stick while I aim, which would make it very difficult, can't even do it anymore. Your two options are either A, purchase a scuff, or B, play with claw grip, which is where you bring your index finger over around the front of the controller. And I played like this for a couple years. It's a little uncomfortable, but it allows you to kind of do the same thing where you can continuously aim and continuously jump. Now, the final evolution of this is really, really try hard. I'll be honest. The final evolution is jumping. Well, the final evolution is shooting, snapping off of your target, using your sprint, and then reacquiring the target. So we talked about the slowest movement you can do is while you're aimed down sight. The second slowest movement you can do is strafing while you're unaimed down sight. And then the best and fastest movement you can do is actually pulling off target, going directly perpendicular, using your forward movement sprint, and then snapping back and reacquiring the target. This is sweaty. I get it. This is a very, very try-hard movement, but it displaces you the furthest you possibly can from your opponent, making it the most difficult to track. And it's an advanced technique that I use every single day, every single match, damn near every single engagement when I'm with the sniper. So here's what it looks like. You take your shot, and then you sprint away from the target, and you're really covering some big ground. And it also is great practice for reacquiring a target. Here's what it looks like on my end. So take a shot, snap, and you are all over the place. Look how much ground I'm covering between each shot. So it's a very advanced movement technique. It really also is necessary to have a scuff in your hands in order to do this. But that's my final tip for controller specific. Guys, we're going to cover some very, very advanced tips in a future video where we talk about how to counter snipe, how to counter strafe, you know, really important things that are specific to both controller and keyboard and mouse. But these little nuances between movement, counter movement, how we're moving our hands while we're sniping, and then most importantly, changing the way we think. We are not focused on the right stick. We are focused on the timing. Will drastically change the way you snipe on controller. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this video helped. I know it was really in the weeds, but if you're watching these videos, if you're watching the Warzone Academy, it's because you want to get into the weeds. It's because you want to become a better Warzone player. So if you enjoy these videos, make sure to subscribe. If you want to see me frag out and do this live, make sure to follow me over on Twitch. If you have any questions specific to you, specific to your playstyle on how to get better, make sure to follow me over there. That's the best way, better than Twitter, better than, you know, YouTube comments. If you want to get in contact with me directly and get your answer, come follow me over on Twitch. Guys, hope you enjoy this. So many more Warzone Academy videos coming back in August. Thank you all for the support. We're almost at 250,000, which is insane. Love you guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.